Thank you very much here to user KO7 and the rest of the letters. They sent me this message on the concrete ships, and obviously you can read that message. So I decided to go and look it up a little bit. I have never heard of this before. So thank you very much, my dear.
For the plan called for 300,000 tonnes of wood pulp, 25,000 tonnes of insulation, 35,000 tonnes of timber, and over 10,000 tonnes of steel, plus, of course, vast quantities of water, that would produce a ship with a hull 40 feet thick, a rudder over 100 feet tall, a total displacement of 2.2 million tonnes, a flight deck 2,000 feet long, which for some scale is as long as 2 modern nuclear supercarriers stuck end to end, with an armament of 80 4.5-inch dual-purpose guns in twin turrets, and innumerable smaller 20 and 40mm cannon, an air group in excess of 200 aircraft, including entire squadrons of heavy bombers, shells, bombs, and torpedoes could blow huge chunks out of it, but never breach its monolithic structure, and with a number of cargo storage areas dedicated to carrying more wood pulp, the rest of the needed repair materials would be freely available all around them. It would not be the fastest vessel in the world, nor would it be the most manoeuvrable, but to be honest, for a vessel whose primary design purpose was to sit in the middle of the Atlantic and launch vast streams of aircraft in all directions, this was not really much of a concern. However, unfortunately for all of us, it was not to be. Further work with the test ship showed that the amount of steel needed would be similar to that needed for a full fleet carrier. But the USA was also beginning to crank out numerous escort carriers, aircraft with longer ranges were being deployed, and an agreement with Portugal to use the Azores as an airbase had been signed. This largely negated most of the issues that had led to the need for the Habakkuk project in the first place, and so the project was sadly cancelled, and we were denied a gigantic floating ice island for all eternity.
Rob, you need to tell me what in the hell's going on.
We're being poisoned.
Rob.
What? I mean it. DuPont is knowingly poisoning us.
You mean the farmer. His land.
All of us. They're already poisoning the baby. They're already poisoning the baby.
No, listen to this.
Sarah!
Stop it! Just stop it, okay? Do you hear yourself? You are acting like a crazy person, tearing up our floor, scaring me half to death. I know it's my job to support you, but that does not mean you have to come into our home, to our family, and tell me that our unborn child is being poisoned. No!
I'm sorry. Can I please explain?
Explain what?
All of it. And if you still think I'm crazy, I'll drop it. I swear to God.
Hi everybody. I was watching something at the weekend. I didn't have a very good... Well, somebody said something really nice to me a few weeks ago, and I've just been on this spiral downwards turn. I don't know what it is. I suppose it's part of grief. And I had such a terrible weekend. I just locked myself in my bedroom. I just cried a lot, and I just miss Mickey so much. But anyway, while I was locked in my bedroom, I was watching this video about mummies, Egyptian mummies. And I found it quite fascinating. This person, being a historian, she said that we were looking at her 10 favourite mummies. It was quite good. There's things I sort of forgotten, and new things I sort of saw, but I'll put my little video on that I've made. So I was actually quite shocked at how in good a condition some of these mummies really are. First of all, I was shocked about that, and I saw him. Basically, to make him, let's go back to, well, there he is. To make him like that, they've basically done plastic surgery on him and sort of put all these fillers in under his skin on his face to make his face stay looking like this. I mean, when you look at the picture before, you can almost see like his stubble, but it's like he looks like a chicken. But I mean, look at that there. I wonder what that's so... I suppose he was probably wearing something. But, they're right. And obviously they do things to the noses because the noses collapse, so they say. And you can kind of see a little bit, I suppose is that called slippage? That's there. But I was just so shocked at in what good condition a lot of these mummies are. I think he's Ramus, yeah, and he is, I think you'll see, he was an elongated headed person. I mean, it's hard because some of them, the little posts, the little pictures I took, they'll say, oh, they were elongated headed people, and some say, oh, it was a cranial problem, you know, that these people had a sort of disease. But we know that's not true because it seems the world was full of these elongated headed people. They had mummified babies. I didn't know that. They mummified some of the babies. They found, as she's showing you the programme, they found loads of animals that had been mummified. Babies that had been mummified. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. Stuck in this room. It seemed that they moved the Pharaohs and they buried them in different places to keep them safe, and this is why they haven't found them all. And I don't think that the elongated headed ones are, stop it there, are Egyptians either. I mean, look at that, right? 1 second, let's go and look at some more. Obviously you can disagree with me, but when I was sort of looking at the coffins, the coffin caskets, the top part, I was thinking, apart from some of them have the Pharaohs' heads on them, But a lot of the way that they've drawn these drawings, they kind of look Indian, don't they? Red Indian. There's just feathers missing when you look at them like that. Okay, yes, on this one there's an Egyptian looking thing, but the patterns, like that's like a bird, this whole thing looks rather Indian like, I thought. Well, anyway, that's what I thought. I mean, when we're looking at them, they've got that sort of Indian look to them. Maybe the Red Indians buried people a little bit differently than in caskets, but they kind of look a bit more like that. I mean, there it says an average age of an Egyptian was 40 years. I mean, that's not very long, is it? But this person, Ramesses II, he lived until he was 90 and he'd reigned for 66 years. But a lot of these pharaohs were only about 5'5", 5'6". And again here they said that Tutankhamun died when he was 13, and then another one says 18. And they, you know, everything's, they don't care that we get wrong information on the internet, do they, Google? But they don't seem to farm or look at that properly, do they? But he also, it says that they found with him, this woman on this programme the other day, she said that they found 2 mummified babies with him. And they reckon that those were his children, that his wife did give birth to 2 or was pregnant and the babies died. And he was only, like it says there, and some of them say he was 19. And some of them say he was 13. So which one was he? 13, 18 or 19? And he had an elongated head. That one's saying he had more than 100 children. Was it an experiment or something? That's a lot of children. Maybe some of those genes are still in us. There you go, they say he was 5'6", so that's not particularly tall, is it? They say that, you know, I remember Marie Wheatley telling me that they only got to about 5'5", 5'6". That was the tallest the elongated headed people were. And they don't want to seem to put any, really, that these were elongated headed people and different people. There you go, there it was called a genetic defect, but that's not true, is it? That was 2008 and we've learnt a lot since then. But the Alcon kings were the elongated headed ones. But were they? It seems to be quite a few of the pharaohs were elongated. I mean, they're supposed to be a different species to us. We are probably the aliens. People with elongated heads have more chakras, more involved than we are. But there you go. So the average height of a male was 5'6", which seems to be the same height as the pharaohs, or a lot of the pharaohs. There was different pharaohs. Some of the pharaohs didn't have elongated heads, but a lot of them did. What it is that probably should be with the other one I did when he said it was 6 foot. I'm just taking pictures, but when you send them over to Facebook, it muddles them all up. Painted in hieroglyphics, which kind of look to me more Indian-like. He is incredible. Look at that. He was less than 40 years old when he died. A lot of them, they must, you know, like they said, Tutankhamun, I think it was him, he was stabbed in the back. One of them died of maybe dental problems. I think I've got that one in here as well. And but he was, Seti was less than 40 years old. But look, it looks like he could almost open his eyes and talk to you. He looks that real. He doesn't, I mean, obviously his colour and he's probably rock hard, but look, you can definitely see that's a person there. I think that's him again. Sethi. That one is very lucky to have got to 66 years of reign, because they all seem to be murdered off. One after the other to get the next one, to get the next one. But, you know, they're just lying to us about elongated headed people. What a cover-up, especially as half the Pharaohs were elongated headed people. Oh, there you go. That was in there as well. So Jesus is stolen from Horus, and Horus was their god. And a different god to the Jesus God Bible one. But that's crazy, and me and Alan did a hangout about that. If you say Spanish and you say Jesus, it's Horus. And there you go, look at that. Represented as the jackal. The tail of a cobra. She was a powerful one. It says, I think that one of those dates are wrong, but about then. This one's a falcon. So there you go, that's another one saying that it was a cranial problem, but that's not true, is it? There's no joins or problems with their heads, there's loads of them. It can't be a defect, can it? So she had a massive one, Nefertiti. So, in a sense, they're just covering all this up. And this is why they had to wear the hats that they did. Elongated skull, Tutankhamun. Those are the kings. I'm not sure if that was in there already, but I might be in there again. But those are the kings, they reckon, that had the elongated heads. But was Tutankhamun the same one as him? Again, it's a gene defect, but I don't believe that. Because there's too many elongated headed people for it to be a problem. Their brains are like they are, they're much more elongated. And then this is it, see? So this is, so we'll just stop. This is this one. Ramus. So they're talking about, or Ramesses, they're talking about that one. What they say, I'm going to read that. It says they performed procedures on the body of their sovereigns that resembled the work of a plastic surgeon. For example, the mummy of Ramesses II, it says she, but it's a he, had his nose surgically modified. And they had silicone implants, or bandages similar to silicone implants were used to keep their faces in place. So they knew more then, didn't they? 5,000 years ago, or they might even be older. Who knows? Because they've lied about history so much. But look at that. They were plastic surgeons, basically. And they got the brain through the nose. How did they do that? It must have come out in tiny bits then. I mean, look how narrow your nose is, and they drag it all out from your nose. It just sounds horrible. Should have just left the body alone. Probably still could have mummified it, just the way it was. There you go. It says she there, but it's a he. Oh, I think we're just going over it. It's just me, sorry. And then what's that one? Oh, that's back to that one. Yeah, they're a little bit over the place, the pictures, but I think you get the general gist with what I'm saying. Is there any more? I mean, he is incredible. And then the last picture. So this was so after I knew I was going to make this video, it was on Facebook, and this person said the three sphinxes: Egypt, Grand Canyon, and whatever that is, Balu Christian. Yeah. So what's your thoughts then when you've got? Let's have a look. Well, the Indians, you've got elongated heads. You know, it seems to be well overlooked, really. Yeah, sorry, just before I go, what do you think of the elongated-headed people? Do you think that they were... Sorry, let's show another picture. I mean, sorry, when I look at that baby, you think, oh, that baby's brain is just completely squeezed. You can almost see in its eyes it's squeezed. But do you think that the Egyptians look like that? Because I don't. Their whole brain is different, but it's bigger. What's your thought? Do you think... Because, you know, when I was talking to Marie Wheatley, there's loads of elongated people buried here. Only about 5'5". That's what Marie Wheatley said. And, yeah. What's your thoughts? Do you think these are a real different species of people? Or do you think their heads were bound? I mean, that poor baby. But do you think their heads were bound? And what do you think of the caskets? Do you think they look a little bit Indian-like or not? Anyway, thanks very much.